Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. JC here with another video on Action Taimanin. Today we're gonna check very quickly some advanced tips for VR. But before we start, don't forget to leave a like, share and subscribe if you enjoy the content. So in VR, depending on how strong you are, you will be able to tackle different steps. And what I'm going to tell you will vary depending on your level of strength. But you can apply this. If you're able to get to step 30, you can apply this kind of a strategy. So, what is it going to be? We're gonna divide the steps into three kinds of difficulties. The steps that you can easily do, no problem. The steps that you can auto-farm with an auto-attacker, but you need to make a good build. And the steps that require you to use your account to your fullest. And you're going to manually farm, you're going to deal the most damage, and you're going to have to be very involved so that you can beat the boss. So, starting with the highest steps. What is the advantage of farming on the highest steps? That you get better drops for hammers and UR Magatamas, and also Crystal Mirage. Crystal Mirage is a very rare resource, so we want to have that drop rate increase. The drop rate becomes 75% for coins, and everything else is going to equate to another 25. So yeah, for the Crystal Mirage is going to be 1%, just so that you know, and this caps at step 100. After that, you're not going to get any more benefit if you go on a higher step, other than coins. You get more coins if you go higher, but there's a daily limit, so there's no reason why you should do that other than challenge. We do want to farm on higher step for these materials, for the hammers in particular, because that's the main way we're gonna be able to craft UR Magatamas. And it is very, very useful to get them by drops, because you can get a limited amount from the store each day. Let's see. Yeah, we have daily hammers for 200 points, and that's you're gonna be left with 1,000 points if you buy the two daily hammers. Only two daily hammers for whichever color you decide. Obviously red, guys. Obviously, but it is a little bit expensive. That's why we want to fish for some hammers on the drops. The UR Magatamas, I mean, if you want to make penetration Magatamas, you can use these Magatamas. Yeah, sure, it's not that bad. Because you cannot make them on the SR rarity, just so that you know. But for the most part, they're just something that you can sell or use as EXP for other Magatamas. They are not that useful. Oh, you can also use them. You just level them up and you just use them for filler Magatamas on the sub-weapon. But that's not really necessary, just so that you know. Yeah, that's the kind of thing that you get the benefit from going higher. That's the benefit from going higher. So, for example, here I'm using Astaroth and Lapis as a healer and Tokiko as a debuffer. I have the Phantasma supporter, which eliminates the immunity to attacks, and I just shred the enemy. Fortunately, there is no damage reduction, but even so, I'm able to just eliminate the enemy with my damage, thanks because I'm using Astral. She's just the strongest, and as you see, I am dealing with the enemy very quickly. Quincan Alloy is not that difficult if you have ways to remove the buffs, actually. And obviously, Core Phantasma is just amazing for that role. But there's other options, like, for example, using Heavyco. Blue Heavyco from the permanent pool is a great option to remove the buffs. And there we go. Pretty easy, pretty simple. The benefit of this, having a chance, 1 in 4 chance to get an item. Yeah, you see? Here I got an item. Unfortunately, it's not something that I'm gonna be using. I would use hammers. But even so, you see that it is not that rare to grab items here. Then we have the steps which you can do with an auto farmer. In my case, it's going to be step 51. And what do? I just equip this. This is going to give me, let's see. It says Fumatokiko. Yeah, she's just the debuffer again, the healer again, and Shisui. Shisui is an auto attacker. You can use 2 auto attackers, but for Emily, you are forced to use basically the Heavenly Chariot if you want to let the thing out of farm. Either Heavenly Chariot or Pale Rider, but Heavenly Chariot is the best option of the 2. So, what do we do with this one? It is very, very simple. You just, not with her, with Shisui. We just equip things that give you defense, damage, and HP recovery. That way, you're going to be tanky, but you're also going to be dealing some damage. You get healed by Lapis, yes, but you do not over-rely on her. You also have your own ways to mitigate damage and heal yourself, so that we don't have to actually rely entirely on Lapis in case she gets stunned or something, or she gets debuffed and she cannot heal. Well, we still have ways to heal ourselves. And as you can see, I'm dealing damage, I am beating the enemy, I'm not doing anything, I'm not pushing any buttons or commands. And this is the strategy I use to farm points, usually. But lately I have been using another strategy that I'm going to show you in a moment. This is very good if you want to just farm your points and that's it, and you don't care about the drops. I am going to skip this thing, but that's with the mouse. So it is good if you want to farm a decent step, which you can beat with an auto farmer, to grab as many points as you want so that you don't have to tackle VR many times. And that way you use your BP optimally. You see, no commands and I still win pretty easily. Now, here you're gonna have a decent chance to grab some rewards, but it is not the best chance. But this kind of farming is about the points, it's not about the drops. The other one that we're gonna use, and I have been using recently, is farming on the lowest step where you do not need to do commands. I mean, it doesn't have to be step 20. I could do it in step 30, but I prefer speed over the increased drop rate of certain items, because this one has an 80% chance to drop an item, but 2% of that is going to be crystal fragment, 10% of that is going to be UR beads, and 2% of that is going to be loops. Here I'm not, it doesn't matter the hammers, the UR Magatamas, or the Crystal Mirage. What I really want to farm are crystal fragments, and the faster I farm, the better. So another important thing is that you get skill points with each run. Here, for example, Lapis has, let's just clear it, and we're gonna compare Lapis in a moment. Or, no, it's gonna be Felicia then. Let's compare Felicia. I'm just going to put the points over here. Nice. So, I'm gonna use this. Let me check. Do I have... Yeah, I have Anti-Demon. So, it is a team that is going to rely on 2 characters. You need a healer. Definitely you need a healer. And you also need an attacker. Lapis is the best option here, but I'm gonna do something on the build for Francis. Francis, I am not going to put any commands, so she's not gonna do anything, but I'm still going to be able to beat the stage. You can do this on step 1, it doesn't really matter, because we are doing this for the skill points and also for the drops that do not change ever, the crystals, the UR bits, the loops, okay? So, in this case, what is Francis going to be doing? She's going to have equip Anti-Demon Defensive Magatamas. whatever maggot damage on the subslot so that we reduce as much damage as possible. We're also going to equip supporters that give you what's the name? Damage reduction. We can also equip Kurenai, and this is super great in case you get hit and they deal a lot of damage to you. This is going to make you even tankier and it's going to give you a regen on the main. Then I'm going to use Akina, of course, and Sakuya. With this, I'm going to have an incredible amount of damage reduction, so the enemy is not going to deal damage to me, while the other two do the work and beat the enemy. As I mentioned, what is the benefit of doing this? Well, number one, you do it fast, because the enemy doesn't have as much HP and it doesn't have as many stage effects. Number two, you get the skill points on a character that doesn't auto farm. So that's good because you're progressing on your stat training. Also, you are going to be getting the crystals. We need crystals. There's just a handful of people who already have every character maxed out. Not even myself. I have many characters maxed out, but I'm missing like 5. So yeah, as you can see, they're doing the work. I'm not doing anything at all, and I survive the stage and I get skill points. It's necessary to mention that these VR stages do not give that many skill points. That's true. Look at this, only 360. Yes, that's right. But I am trying to farm as many crystal fragments as possible. So, for people who have a lot of BP refills, this is going to be amazing. Because, I mean, BP refills you can use to participate on the ladder of PvP. You can use them when we have double coins or extra coins on PvP, so that you farm and you are able to buy more weapons on PvP. That's right. And you can also use them here for this kind of a strategy to get extra drops, to fish for hammers on higher steps, to fish for crystals on lower steps. Because even though it's 18%, this is going to give you a bigger chance than well, technically it's the same chance, but you don't have to worry about the inputs, and you still get the skill points, and you farm with characters which normally you do not use, so you're progressing on their stat training. So there's benefit to this strategy. So this is going to be most effective for people who do have BP refills, but everyone can do it actually, because the only thing that you need to do is to let the hot spring do its job and accumulate as many points. You just do this like maybe twice a week. You let it get to maybe 80%, 90%, you use acquire, and then you have a ton of extra runs that you can do so that you are able to farm those items that you want. I know it might not be appealing to farm on the lower steps at the beginning, precisely at the beginning, because you want to go as far as possible. But once you already are at a sweet spot and you can go to high steps, to medium steps, and to just destroy the content, there's value in this because you progress on those characters which you do not want to farm manually because they need a lot of commands. And I mean, I do not want to farm Francis manually. And almost everything that you see here on the stat training has been through this method, and it's pretty useful. The same for Phantasma and the same for Felicia. Like, I have been progressing a lot with these characters thanks to this method. I know it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of effort, but honestly, I just do something else. I maybe play another gacha while I let the thing auto farm. So it is there if you want to do it. Obviously, focus on whichever resource you need the most. Most likely, what most players are gonna take from this video is to farm on the higher steps, do extra runs. Even if you finish the points, it's still worth it to farm on the VR just for the items, just for the chance of getting a drop rate, just for the skill points so that you can strengthen your characters. So yeah, do it. I suggest it, but if you don't feel like it, it's also fine not to do it. You can skip it and you can use your BP on the PvP so that you grab more coins and you're able to grab those limited supporters, seasonal supporters, those PvP weapons and such. So yeah, I hope you find this useful, and be sure to let me know in the comments if you have any other advanced tips regarding VR, especially on the drop department, because everyone wants to know how to get the most materials out of this. So that's it for today, and I'll be seeing you next time. Bye!